double check on Twitch as well, and then we can actually start the interview itself. Okay. Let me close this one. Okay. Also link the Kickstarter page to the chat as well. It's better if I link the Kickstarter page, right, to chat rather than the Steam page, because it's included in the Kickstarter campaign. So, okay. The link is so long. Okay. Highlight. Sorry, I'm just double checking everything to work. Okay. Sorry, I'm just double checking everything. Please say something again.
Something.
Sorry, I'm just double checking everything.
Something.
Again.
Something.
Sorry, perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Okay, let me sit into my original position here. And ladies and gentlemen, let us know if the quality, the sound quality and the video quality is good enough so we can start. Hölgyek, urak, jó a kép és hangminőség? Kezdhetünk? Let us know. Let us know if we can start. I checked it. It seems good. Just let us know. Like always at the end, ladies and gentlemen, you will be able to ask questions as well, and I will read them out loud. So, yeah. Okay, I will take a last double check. Then we can start. Last double check. Then we can start. Okay, it's working fine. Okay, dear Josema, let me know if I can start with you. Let me know.
I'm good.
Okay.
Ready.
Okay. So welcome everyone in the very new episode of my Dev Live show. Today I'm joined with Josema. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Please let me know if not. Who is the creator of the game called Guts TV and also made so many awesome movies as well. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very thankful and very honored that you joined us for today's episode of my Dev Live show. And like I'm always saying, let's start with a little bit of introduction. So please introduce yourself for us. And of course, let me know if I haven't pronounced your name correctly.
Thank you for having me. I'm Josema, but honestly, you pronounce it pretty well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I practice, I can tell you.
You're good. Yeah, I lived in the States for a while, okay. and that was a problem because everyone wanted to call me Joe or something like that, and I was like, no, my name is Josema. Like you can pronounce it wrong, but not Joe. So you're doing great.
It doesn't translate to Joe. Got it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I'm Josema, I'm the creative director at Remulto Studios.
Okay.
And we're launching Guts TV on Kickstarter right now. We're fully funded, 24 hours, and. Nice. But for everyone who can come to check it out, I think we have a pretty cool page, some pretty cool and unexpected rewards.
True. I saw that. Yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to listen to the community and to see what people are resonating with, and apparently people resonate with some funny shit. So True. It's awesome.
Do you think that buyers of those rewards where you can have a pant or panties, they will wear it in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are raving about them. People are asking about them. It's something that we expected to do 5-6 units. And I think we're now looking at vendors so we can try to do 100 or a couple hundred.
Okay. New sex toys incoming for people who buy it, right? Due to a game. It's awesome.
want it, we'll make it.
Very true, very true, very true.
It's exciting. So, and as for my introduction, my career is pretty strange, but I think like most people's careers are pretty strange. So,
True.
I'm trained in communication. So I went to college for that. But then after that, I've been a writer, director, cinematographer. Very early on, I wanted to get into interactive, and my partner David, he comes from video games, pure video games, and we've been friends for 20 years. So we started Melbot with another partner, with Jamie, and like now we are like, like there's the video game side, there's the finance and like strategy side, which my partner Jamie, and then I'm like kind of like the wild card from storytelling and narrative. And I worked in the very early on when I moved a little bit from film more to video games and interactive. I started working in virtual reality, and also I did some narrative work on really big games like Fallout 4 and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Just like small parts in the narrative production, like voiceover, coordination, motion capture, and I was seeing at how these big companies made those games, and I was like, they're wasting so much money. And I thought it was very interesting how you could bring a lot of like world building and storytelling and art at a smaller budget.
Sure.
So that's kind of how I started joining my partners and trying to make just really high concept, really cool, things that also drew from like music and advertisement and animation and other forms of entertainment that maybe were not as represented in video games, especially in the smaller games. So that's how it started. And now like we did at Melbot our first IP called Melbits, which is like games for kids. And spoiler alert, selling games to kids is really hard because you need to sell it to the parents.
True.
After that, we made My Little Pony game because we were looking for work, and we landed this My Little Pony gig, and it's called My Little Pony Adventure Bay, Maritime Bay Adventure, and that game, showcased a lot of what we could do under a really, really tight budget, right? Because there's like a lot of storytelling and like really, really solid screenwriting, really solid cutscenes, world building. So it was a test of what we could do as a team. And like after that, we were like, okay, let's do our thing. What can we do? And we wanted to make something that was funny to us and that was not for kids. Something like I have tattoos, and I like David Bowie, and
all combined together, right? A mix of everything.
Yeah, something more punk rock, something more
love it.
Yeah, like more adult themes, and something that I would play, something that we would play, and something that was funny to us, right? If it was funny to us and fun to us, we'll find an audience.
True. But it's funny you mentioned that it's for adults, right? Because as kids we used to play GTA games, right? So it makes sense to play as kids as well. So yeah, it doesn't alienate kids anymore, and it never did, right? So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Before I ask my very first question, by the way, it's interesting that you brought up the topic of like a lot of big companies are wasting their money on a lot of like resources that they would not need, because I can name even a very like common example in this situation that you mentioned in this topic, in this field. For example, PRs. I met so many PRs who are not making their work correctly or their job correctly, and they're just they're getting the money, but they are not advertising, they are not doing shit, and they are just there. So it's interesting. And I also talked to one of my guests, one of the developers whom I talked to. He also told me that it's interesting that like these big companies strip down the knowledge to like senior, junior, all kinds of like levels of knowledge, right? Rather than like having a very knowledgeable and very clever person, just one, rather than have stripped down that knowledge to 10 people, right?
Right.
And I'm not sure why is that. Like, do they want to like strip down all the work? or why,
No,
but it's weird. It's weird. Like it's weird to learn about that. And like you said, it's more money, right? So it's
I don't think that's the reason. Like, like we're 12 people now. We were 35 at some point last year, because we're doing two projects at the same time. It's a longer story, but the thing is, working with people is hard.
Sure.
And if everyone is making their own game, but we're not making the same game together, that's really tough, right? So the more people you bring to a particular project, the harder it is to like keep it contained. That's why big games have to be generic and have to be a little soulless, because it's really hard to imprint, your take
Everyone's
on.
vision, right?
Right. So the moment a game has to be really big, then it becomes a monster. So not everybody can have a say.
True.
It's not like there are no smart people underneath smart people.
Yeah, it's
It's that
understandable. Yeah.
it's like a lot of people who are very smart don't have a say, and they cannot do anything, right? They cannot actually like do what they're capable of, but because they're getting paid so much money, they're okay with it, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, people who are incredibly good are not being used properly, or they're not being like maximized, their creativity and their talent. And people who are not very good, are at the same level, and they share the same responsibilities and the same thing. So like, the bigger the company, the harder it is to make things good. So I don't think it's malice. I just think like the moment it becomes an industry job, right? It's very hard, to prioritize talent or prioritize creativity. You have to prioritize politics, and you have to prioritize production. You have to prioritize deadlines. So I think we're seeing a change in the fact that smaller teams can make really big games, right? Like Expedition 33 is like the greatest example, right?
True.
It's like they always say like, oh, we're 33 people. That's not true, right? There are 33 people making the game, and there's hundreds of people around those 33, like outsourcing animation, or outsourcing cutscenes, or outsourcing voiceover, or outsourcing a lot of things, right? And I think that more and more is going to become like how games are made, right? That it's not like we don't want to have a lot of smart people. It's like, make a team that it like complements each other in a very tight way, right? Where everybody's adding a lot of value to production and a lot of value to the game. And anyone who's not, maybe you don't need that person in the team. You don't need that role, for example.
True. I agree. Switching back to the topic of questions, my very first question would be, what was your very first contact with video games as a player? And also, since you made so many awesome movies, what was your very first contact with movies?
I'm going to try to be short. I could be talking about this for hours.
I'm down to that. I have all the time in the world.
Awesome.
I'm just joking.
Video games. I think it has to be. I think I played something. I don't remember the game, but I played on an Amstrad or Spectrum, like when I was like really young. I was like 4 years old, and I was at some like cousin's house, and they showed me this thing. It like played with cassettes, and I was like blown away. So when the first NES came out, I was like, I need this. I need this thing. So I remember getting the NES for Christmas and then just playing Super Mario like endlessly. I would just like play 10 hours a day. And I was bad. I was 5 years old, but I was like obsessed. I was so obsessed. So that was my first experience with games, and that was mind blowing. And then film, it's just my mom. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, and my mom, it's a longer story, but like she was she had some health issues, so she spent a lot of time like sitting and watching movies, smoking, having coffee. That was like a loop, right? So when I was there, for like maybe like on a weekend. I want to watch cartoons. And my mom was like, no, like I'm watching a movie, and I'm like, but it's black and white. And my mom will be like, it's not black and white. This is Billy Wilder, and this is The Apartment. And she will teach me about the classics when I was like 5, 6, 7. So I was like very exposed to like world cinema and like classic cinema as a not as a toddler, but as a very young child. So I grew to like have a very like wide idea of what film was when I was really young. So like I've been thinking in images and storytelling for a long time. So when video games and film started to like like grow closer together, because Super Mario, I'm not thinking about storytelling, right? But
True.
I remember N64, GoldenEye, like Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and then I was like, okay, wait, like Half-Life.
True.
Like
they are story heavy games. Yeah.
I mean, not story heavy. They're like gameplay heavy.
But they tell story through gameplay and environments. Yeah. Okay. Which was first, by the way, when you started being a creative person? Which was your first creative process to make movies or games?
It was neither.
Okay.
I thought when I was 13, 14, I just love drawing and writing. So
Okay.
like I thought I was going to be or a novelist or a comic book.
Okay.
Or author, whatever. So that's what I thought I was going to do, and I started drawing a lot, and so I did a bunch of like sketches and little comic books and like things for my friends and caricatures and all that stuff. And I started writing a novel when I was like 12.
Okay.
But like I didn't go beyond 15 pages. It was insane. It didn't make any sense. But I was like writing and drawing. That was kind of how it started, because that's something I could do by myself, right?
True.
And when I was in school, we had to do like this little short film for class, and we'll record it with my grandpa's camera, and then we'll like put it on a VHS and then tape from VHS to VHS to do the cutting, to do these shots. And I was like, I love this. This is amazing. It was super shitty. Like I did it with my classmates. It didn't make any sense. It was so stupid. We were just copying things from movies and just reenacting shit. And I was like hooked. I'm hooked. So then I was like, I'm gonna be a filmmaker. But I play video games like as much as I watch movies. It was just like something like this. And then in college, I did a bunch of shorts, and I started doing a bunch of like cinematography and writing and directing. I started acting a little bit. A movie I acted in just came out on Amazon yesterday.
Okay.
Which is pretty funny. If you guys want to see it, it's called Safe Space. I don't think it's very good, but I'm and then after college, my friend David, who's my best friend and my partner in the company, he went to Barcelona, where I live now, and started working in video games. Like super, like he did a master's in video games, and then he started working in video games. And I did film, and I went to the States to work in film, and then like we got back together, and now we're like in the same company. So like. And he's always been interested in film, and I've always been interested in video games. So,
I see. Okay. More personal question from me would be, by the way, tied to these topics that we talked about now. Were your family members, parents, and close friends supportive about this decision of yours that you would like to be part in the video game industry and in the movie industry as a creative person?
Support is a strong word.
Okay.
I feel like they always, like, my parents were always like, okay, this kid is doing a lot of things. Nobody's asking him to do them. He's not getting paid to do them. Therefore, he has to love it very much, right? So they saw my passion and they were okay with it. They helped me out, like going to school in the States. So they've been very supportive in their actions. But the funny thing is, like, my family rarely has seen like most of my work. Like they haven't seen
Okay.
a lot of, like,
But
it's
why?
they're well, they're not that. I don't force them to do
Oh,
it, and they
okay,
don't.
okay, 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 okay.
You know, I don't go on Christmas and I'm like, guys, we're gonna watch my short. You know, like, also, like, the topics. My family is very Catholic and very
I see.
traditional and conservative,
I see.
and everything I do has never been like that. So
I
it's
see.
not like I'm not forcing them. I'm not forcing them to enjoy it or anything.
I see.
If they ever want to see anything, I'll of course share it. But I remember sharing with them my last film, and and like, where's the link? I'm like, I sent you the link 3 months ago. Oh yeah, but we want to watch it now. Like, I send them the link, and then, like, a few weeks later, like, hey, what you think? Like, oh, we didn't watch it. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
You will have to sit down with them after this interview and watch a movie. That's your homework from me.
we'll see. We'll see.
Is it important, by the way, for you to have a mentally supportive background in your life in order to chase your dreams and live in this creative field of yours?
Mentally, you said?
Yeah, mentally, yeah.
Mentally. So I'm ADHD. I got diagnosed 3 years ago,
Okay.
and I feel like most of my creative life is kind of a disorder, kind of a mental disorder, kind of like a need to, like, express and a curiosity to learn.
But I think it's true for everyone, right? I think it's true
Yeah,
for everyone. Like, there is a quote in Hungary here that, which translates to English, is that, like, life issues makes the best stories or something like that.
hmm
So I think it's true for everyone, for every creative person.
I think so. I mean, the thing is, I have this. Yeah, like,
I
I
just
feel like
wanted to say that, sorry for interrupting, that it's not bad. Like, it's not bad having a
yeah,
trauma or
of course,
something and expressing yourself by it.
of course. No, I think it's just. I feel that you need to be or very stupid or very
Stubborn, let's say.
stubborn to make it in a creative career. Like, and sometimes I feel like I'm both, and being stupid in the sense that you choose not to see the dangers, or you choose not to see what's bad about it, because otherwise you wouldn't do it, right? Like, you wouldn't start a company, or you wouldn't, like, start creating a project, or you
True.
wouldn't show it to
You
people.
realize when you start or after you started.
Yeah, it's like, so many times I've been, like, very excited about an idea or a film or a game, and then it's like, that excitement is great, right? But that excitement goes away, right?
True,
Like, there's a moment where you stop being as excited about it after 6 months, after a year, after 2 years. So you need to find ways to motivate yourself in the process. And, for example, something that was happening now that we were going to launch the Kickstarter, it was really interesting. It's like, I believe in the game, but I've also done, like, so many projects, and there's always a fear before you show it to people. Like, whatever you do, like, the moment you're going to show it to people, you only see the bad parts. Like, you only see what doesn't work. You only see, like, all that stuff, right? And some people in the team were like, oh my god, but are we going to show it like that? Oh my god, like, shouldn't we just go to a publisher? Because, like, like, showing it to people, what if the people don't like it? What if the gamers don't like it? And I'm like, if the gamers don't like it, we don't have a game. It doesn't matter if you have a publisher. Like, people have to like it. People have to want to play it, and spend time. Because it's not about money anymore, right? Like, it's like, if you pay like 20, 30, 80 bucks for a game, it doesn't matter how expensive it is. I mean, it matters, of course, right? But it's about, like, how much time are you going to dedicate to this game?
True, very true.
And time is the most important thing that you have. So, like, I was telling my team, it's like, look, like, if people don't like the game, we don't have a game. Therefore, like, we shouldn't keep doing it, right?
Sure.
But if they like it, then it's out there. It exists. People can play the demo. People can, like, look at the characters. People People can decide what they feel about it. And not to my surprise, to some people in the team it's kind of a surprise, but not to my surprise, people love the characters. People love the
They are
game.
unique. They are unique, like you said.
They're
And
unique.
the whole setting is unique. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something special about it. And like the demo that we have is not the best demo ever, because it's a demo that we made with very little money to be able to show it to publishers. But it showcases something, right?
Core aspects, yeah.
And right now we're working on stuff that like the people are giving us feedback about this thing, and then we're gonna show them so much more on our next demo in October, right? And that's the thing, like you need to be really tough mentally to show it to people and accept that people won't like it or will love it or whatever. And whatever happens is like, how do I learn from this, right?
True.
And for a long time, I didn't have that philosophy, right? For a long time, I was like, oh, people don't like my shit, therefore I'm a failure. And now, like, I'm an older person, I'm 41. I've done a lot of projects. I showed my products to a lot of people. I have successes, I have failures. And now I can say, like, what can I learn from this, right? The game is doing great. Okay, what can I learn from this? This is not so good. Great. How can we improve that, right? People are really responding to this. Oh, shit, I didn't see it coming. How can I put more of this in the game, right? It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
True. And you brought up this topic of like if somebody is not strong enough mentally in order to like stick to that vision and not be afraid what people will think. That's how they end up like not maximize their creative process, like we talked about it earlier, and they end up in this big, huge team of AAA companies, right? And they end up like not sticking to their own vision, but working for a very big company because they are afraid what people would think if they would be on the road to like chase their dreams and do their own games. So
yeah. I mean, there's definitely part of that, but it's also something that I learned to accept and respect. It's like some people just want to have a lot of free time and a lot of money, and that's fine. If you're good at modeling, and you could be modeling the most amazing characters, but you get paid a lot of money to make rocks for 2 years. If you are okay with that, and what you want is you don't want the pressure, you don't want to build a community, you don't wanna like risk failure, that's fine. That's not me, but that's absolutely fine. And there's a lot of people who are making good money, and I work with some of them, and they're friends. And I have to respect that, but it's sad that sometimes people with a lot of talent.
Yeah, I agree. It's sad, yeah, because at the end of the day, they might have the best ideas in the world, right? They're just not brave enough to like force those ideas out from themselves. Yeah. And like you said, it's also true that some people just don't want to risk their lives in order to like have all these challenges. They rather just go for a 9 to 5 and work for another company, and that's all. Yeah. Okay. What influenced, by the way, the story of Gods TV? I was curious about that.
The story in particular, or like the game. Now, I'm going to talk about the game more than the story.
Okay.
Because so there's a few things. One of the things is that we see Twitch as an incredible tool, for creators and for viewers to engage with things that they like. So originally, we always thought that Gods TV, before it was Gods TV, it was called Gods TV. Like it was a project, right? And we thought it would be really cool to have something where people could vote on Twitch. What happens?
Like integration. Okay.
Yeah, like with a Twitch integration. So from very early on, we wanted to have viewers vote, and the streamer like have to deal with whatever they voted.
Okay.
So we were like, okay, so let's create a world around that. So the whole idea was like, okay, what if the viewers are the gods, right? So the viewers can vote and can like, it's just like the gods in Greek mythology, right? Like they're like, oh, mortal, I'm gonna like lay this curse upon you. Like, well, now the viewers are the ones laying the curse upon the player, right? So we were really excited about that. And then we started thinking about like a world around that, right? So like, okay, so Twitch is like a TV show where every streamer is the host of their own TV show. So let's make a game that is a TV show, you know, and it's ruled by the gods, right? So gods TV. That was that simple, and that's when we're like, okay, then now let's go from that to like what this show could be, right? So we started thinking about like Takeshi's Castle mixed with like Running Man, mixed with like Hunger Games, mixed with, you know, Fall Guys. Why not? You know what I mean?
Everything makes.
Yeah, everything makes. So like the whole point was like, okay, let's make a game that's really fun. That is like, yeah, it's a killing game. Like you kill stuff, but there's also like pinball mechanics, and there's also like, you know, like fame mechanics, you know. And because I'm the writer, you know, like let's have a backstage area where it's like the combat is in front of the cameras, but behind the scenes in the backstage, you have like some kind of a reality show where like you have to like talk to NPCs, and like one of the NPCs is your agent, and your agent brings you deals, but your agent actually has an addiction problem. So like, you know, so there's all these things, and power-ups are addictive, and they're like kind of like drugs made by the gods, you know, like, so like you have all these things that are like adult themes about like show business and like famous people, you know, like the backstage of the scenes. So every time you die, you have like that thing, like that evolved into being like this parody.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I really like when I pitch, and it's something that I love about the whole idea is like games like FIFA or NBA 2K have this like super absurd career modes with like famous actors and like all these like cutscenes, and like so stupid because like nobody gives a shit, right?
True. Very true. Yeah. Sadly. Yeah.
It's a basketball game, you know, like people want to play basketball.
Yeah. True.
But it does engage you, right? Like because you're playing by yourself, so it's a way to be like, oh, I'll keep engaged even if it's shitty, right?
True.
So I played a bunch of NBA 2K, and I was like, dude, like let's do that, but cheap, right? Let's do instead of having a city, we'll have just the backstage, and instead of having like, you know, 3D everything and cutscenes, let's do everything with amazing 2D characters, you know, and let's just do a bunch of really good writing, you know, and just have funny shit about like love, romance, drugs, crime, yeah, business, you know,
what drives people, right? And the real life.
Exactly. You know, and that's the whole thing, right? Like because like from the beginning, it's like, oh, it's a TV show, it's kind of a reality show, and there's like all the things. So, oh, well, let's make it sexy, but like stupid sexy. Let's not make it like let's not make it like Marvel Rivals. Let's make it silly sexy, right? And that's kind of what happens. Like we have this character Kenny, who is like I call him anisexual because he'll fuck anything, right? Even inanimate objects. So that's such a good joke. And then like when we did the designs with Anna Katish, our amazing character designer, like she gave him this like jock strap, and we're like, oh, that's funny, you know, like when we moved into rigging, you know, like we were like, it'll be funny if like the dick will like swing like that, right? So we did it, you know, and now like that's our most viral clip, right? Like so like, you see the guy just running, like, you know, and now everybody's like, oh yeah, jiggle inclusion, you know, like, no more boobs and ass, but like dicks, like great. And like, we love the dick. Can you move his ass and boobs? And like, sure, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but it all comes from the high concept, right? Like, it's a TV show, and what sells on TV or what sells online is like sex and violence. Awesome. Let's make it about sex and violence.
It's sad and happy at the same time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if the game is about killing and the game uses like sexual jokes, like it's on brand. Like it's part of the brand.
True. Very true. It's like a franchise building, right?
Exactly. And like all of the games that do that, it's not their brand. They do it, but it's like, oh, let me jiggle some boobs here, or let me do something.
They're scared to do it like in a big version, yeah.
Exactly. So we're making fun of them. We're not making it to be sexual or to be like violent. We're making fun of those games, and it's really fun.
True. Very true. Switching back to personal question. I believe in this statement of mine that all creators who create our own craft, we always tend to put our inner self into the craft we make. Even if it's about experiencing love, loss, positive or negative things in our life, in our best life. Is this statement of mine true when you work on video games or on movies or any creative process? And if your answer is yes, what examples could you name us? What examples could you bring us to the table?
Yeah, I mean, first, absolutely. I mean, you can't help but putting yourself into the stuff, right? Like
I agree.
It's impossible, right? But as you do it, like I think over time, you learn like the difference between putting stuff that you like into your work and stuff that actually like comes from you and comes from a deeper place. So I think that's obviously always true. I think it's a struggle because, you know, like in filmmaking or in writing, people always say like, oh, write what you know, right? But what's what you know? Like if you've never been to Mars, but you happen to know a lot about, you know, like astrophysics, you know, like you are like a scientist, you know what I mean? Like, or in my case, like I like a lot of shit, right? And for example, like I'm an NBA fan. Like I don't watch a lot of the games, but I follow the NBA and I follow like the narratives. So when I was doing God TV, I'm like, I'm gonna make fun of everything that I like about the NBA, right? Because there are stars, and you know they are fashion icons, and they are like influencers in their own right. But then they are like horrible people, you know, and like they have horrible stories behind the scenes.
True.
So like I know a lot about that shit because it's my entertainment, right? So I put it into the game, and nobody will ever know. Everybody will think like, oh, the script is really fun. Oh, how did they come up with this idea? Well, like I'm constantly seeing like what things that are interesting to me and like putting them in a way where I'm like talking about the world that the way I see it, right? True. So I see a lot of drama and a lot of humor in things like, again, sports, or I see a lot of you know, I come from Hollywood. Like I had an agent. I was read by one of the biggest agencies in the world.
That, yeah.
Right, and so I had an agent. I know what having a sleazy agent is. So I've been a director with actors that didn't yet, that are complete divas, you know, like, so I've seen all that stuff. So when we were like building the story, I was not, oh, it'd be cool to make it about like show business. No, it's like that's what I know. Like I know show business because I've been in it. I've been at parties with these people. It
wasn't just that you read about it like others, right?
Exactly. So like bringing what I know from my personal experience to the game in the show business, because a lot of the things that I'm doing in the game and writing the game, building the game, they come from my 8 years in LA, in Hollywood. It's just like I'm just picking stuff and characters that people in real life that I'm putting in the game.
And hopefully they won't be mad, right?
I don't think they'll ever know. You can tell them. But and also like Benidorm was one of the locations. It's like a beach resort where like everybody from all over the galaxy goes to get the infinity juice. The infinity juice is basically the feces of this monster that lives in the planet, you know, but they liquefy it and make it like the infinity juice so you can be eternally young. But it comes from Benidorm is Benidorm. Benidorm is a place in my region, in like near Valencia, where like all of the people of Europe, all the shittiest people in Europe come drink, you know, because they come to get fucked up with alcohol and drugs to that particular town. So when you go to Benidorm, like people are not from there. People are all from all over Europe, and they come to drink and party and fuck, right? So I put that as a location in the game, you know. So if like nobody will know unless they know Benidorm, but like it's very authentic and it's very real to me because I've been there a million times, like drinking and partying. So like I know what it is. So there's a lot of that. Like, and when I made more personal stuff and more dramatic stuff, the thing is, it's very precious. It's too precious. You want to be honest to your real human experience. And then it's really easy to fall into making things that you will respect if somebody else did it, instead of making something that is really true to you, right? And with Gods TV, I'm very lucky and very fortunate because I can just do things that I don't care if people respect it or not. They're just funny to me, and they draw from a very personal place. But it's not. I'm not precious about it. So because I think the only way to make humor is to be very authentic and very honest,
True.
not be afraid of being exposed and vulnerable.
True.
So that's what Got to Be is for me in a personal, like as drawing from my personal experience and from my personal life into the game. And I feel that when you do that in a very selfless way, when you do that in a way that is like generous and not contrived or not artificial, I feel like people don't know where it comes from, but they feel that it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True. Also, I had this argument with my literature teacher in high school. I remember I always tell this example of my life in my past, that we argued with her, that she told us at literature class that there is no way that like readers of any book or poems will understand the creator's background by a poem, or that feeling that he or she had by writing the poem. And I argued with her because I raised my hand and I told her it's not true, because I feel like there are very rare situations where like, or when like a reader of a poem or a book or any consumer of a media or art form will totally understand that person who created their craft. And I believe so, like you said, because they will connect with the same feeling, because they might ended up in the same situation as the creator did. It's very rare, right? So it's like, I don't know, 0.1% of the people who will understand totally the creator. But I believe it can happen.
I mean, the thing is, and I think that you're touching upon like a really, really cool topic, which is like, it's your, like the moment you play my game, it's your game. It's not my game anymore.
True.
You know, the moment you read my poem, it's your poem. Like whatever you understand is true. It doesn't matter what I wanted to, what I wanted to.
True. It's understandable. Yeah. There are so many ways that you could understand a poem or a game, but what I wanted to reflect on is that there are very rare occasions where I think there is a like perfect connection, let's say, between the creator and the consumer. It's just rare, in my opinion.
The thing is like you will never know. Like it's possible.
True.
But you will never know. How can, like, when are you not gonna have the chance to be a reader and meet the person who wrote it and then chat and be like, oh, we're completely on the same page? Like, unless that happens, you will never know.
True. But there were stories about it, right? When, for example, a reader of a book wrote a letter and they totally connected because they had the same life problems or life issues or experiences.
No, and I feel like the greatest creators are people who like make something very personal to them, but at the same time resonates with a lot of people.
True. I agree. Yeah. Very true. What about the gameplay? What kind of aspects the gameplay side of your game will have?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that too?
Yeah, of course. I mean, please, everybody, go to Kickstarter. You can play the demo.
Very true. Do that.
Yeah, you can get there. So we started, and I'm gonna be open about this. Like we started with top-down action arcadey vibe, right?
Okay.
Like we wanted to have something fast, something that played really, really fast, really tight, what we call thumb candy. And then when we're doing this thing with the gods, somebody along the way said like, oh, you should really play Hades because there's something to it. And then we played Hades. And I'm like, oh my God, Hades did all of the things that we wanted to do before us. It was so sad. So since we played Hades, we've been trying to move further away. But the thing is, like, the structure is very similar. And I was really sad and really pissed when I saw it because I'm like, they did it so well. And I'm like, fuck. Because this whole idea of like, you jump into the show and then you kill things and you move, you progress through arenas as you kill enemies. And then like you will encounter some NPCs every now and then. And there's this like whole like power up system and everything. And then like, when you die, you go backstage. And then like I go play Hades and I'm like, oh shit. You try to escape hell, you know, and then when you die, you go back to your house. And I'm like, oh man, it's the same thing. I'm like, fuck. So I feel like it's unavoidable now that there's a vibe of like, this is a very similar loop to Hades, but it's a very different game, right? Like we want to be a very chaotic game, like where there's like more of a like power escalation, more similar to games like Voidigo or like I like Smash Brothers a lot.
Okay.
I'm always trying to like bring some of that stuff. So there's like more options, meaning like something that we really like about Smash Brothers is how like, you have like only a couple buttons, really. Like it doesn't use all of the buttons,
True.
but they have a lot of functions depending on direction and depending on how you combine them. And then you can do like combos that are like not crazy combos, but you have a little bit of like that extra depth and player expression to it. And then the other thing is that, and this is something that we feel is really cool. Is like the gods. There are 6 gods, and they're like, let's say NBA, because that's what I know. Like let's say NBA, the NBA teams, right? So you play as yourself, and you're a contender, and you're trying to get there. And as you raise your fame, which by the way, you have star power, and this star power is the scoring that you do, because the better you play and the more like flashy you are, the bigger you score. And as you score, you can also go viral. And when you hit like a critical mass, then you go viral, and then you're stronger for the amount for like, and you can keep the streak up. You keep killing and keep doing flashy things, right? So there's this combo counter if you want it.
I see.
So like it's all about being famous and going viral, right? So when you keep doing that, then you gain a lot of star power. Like you'll be more famous, and you get fame that you can use in the backstage, right? So as you unlock levels of fame, the gods will come and be like, "Hey, you're really good. Like I think you should represent me. I think I will give you a skin with powers. If you rock my skin, you'll be my champion, right?" So every time you unlock a skin, then you can go back to backstage and you're like, "Oh, what skin do I want to be? Like, what god do I want to be?" And that will have changes in gameplay, because the powers of each god are like kind of rival with each other. And then as you pick those skins and then you progress in the game, you'll find other like bosses or enemies who are sponsored by rival gods, right? So depending if you're playing in co-op with 2 people with the same god, there'll be synergies. But if you're like in co-op with a person with a rival god, like they bother each other, right? Like
Okay.
So there's this idea of like the gods being your team, and defining how your run is gonna go. So I think that's pretty unique, and it's really cool because like our design, like I know we're strong with character design, right? So the more skins we can add to the game, and the more like variables to like powers to those skins, I think like we can craft like really stupid builds, as you go the run. And also like make you feel that you are like a superhero, but also a pop star, right?
True.
Because when we think of like rock star and pop stars, they have their outfit for this album, right? True. And they go, so there's a lot of that celebrity, fame thing, but also like it's gameplay based, right? So the more famous you get, at the backstage you have like deals with gods or deals with sponsors, and you unlock new weapons. But it's not a weapon and that's it. It's a signature weapon. So you can give a name to the signature weapon, and then you can design what ammo and like just little things. It's not like crazy customization.
I see.
But then you have like your weapon with your colors and your name, right? And if you're streaming it, it'll be your weapon, right? And
True.
and we can have a lot of fun with that. That's one of the things that you can do in the Kickstarter, like because the weapons, the signature weapons, you can back some of the rewards, and you can actually add a name, so you can design a signature weapon for the game. You can also some of the rewards also like to design skins for the game. So we're really excited about like giving the players a lot of customization, but it's meaningful. That goes along with.
It's not just repetitive skins over and over, but it has a meaning. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And then, so that's more of the combat. But when you go backstage, there will be like cast of NPCs, and those NPCs are NPCs that you can like create relationships with. Like every now and then, you have choices, and you can befriend or like you can rival them, right? And as you're doing that, like you'll unlock, because they can also like give you challenges, or they can give you a skin or an emote. So like the more famous you are, like there will be a character, there will be an NPC in the backstage that you try to chat with, and like, fuck no, you loser, right? And then like over time you get more famous, and they'll come to you and be like, hey, actually, how you doing, right?
Just like in real life, right? The
Right.
more money or fame you get, people will love you.
That's right. That's right. That's just like in real life, and using that to create humor. But also like one of the things that would be really funny to us, like to have some romance in the thing. So like after when we release, we will like to have a couple like romance options, maybe more over time. So we always thought it would be really funny to end up fucking a pizza.
Okay. Love it. Those are so crazy ideas. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Would you like to do, by the way, in the same universe, like your full 3D game? That's what I also wanted to ask.
A full 3D game?
Yeah.
You mean like third person,
third person action, open world, something like that? Yeah, in the same universe.
In the same universe.
Because when I was scrolling down the Kickstarter page, and first I saw the trailer of your game back like 2 or 3 weeks ago or a month ago, I was like, hey, this can be a franchise, and this can be a 3D game in the future as well, or a second part as a 3D game.
Honestly, I really don't want to think about it right now.
Okay, it's understandable.
I want to finish this one first, but I'll tell you something. Something that I've always been obsessed, and it's not gonna be part of the game. I mean, if we make it to $1 million on Kickstarter, maybe. But something that I always wanted to do is have them on bikes, like have bike combat, like combat.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know why, but I've always been like, it would be so funny, like to have like moments in this game, or maybe like more of an open world thing where like you could visit these worlds and having like more NPCs and
crazy idea.
Yeah, but I just love the idea of like finding a way for the pizza to like move around very fast, and like the robot turning into a little something, like hoverboard, and then Lida on a Akira style bike. I just think it's really fun for me.
True. It reminds me, by the way, of the game, if you might not know or played Gory, the cat on the hoverboards.
Right.
He has to kill these unicorn zombies or something like that. Yeah.
I never played it, but it looks fun.
Yeah. What was the goal, by the way, with the difficulty setting for your game?
What do you mean?
Like, what you wanted it to be for the players as a hard game, appeal as a hard game, or somewhere in between, or a very easy game to consume?
Yeah.
I saw the difficulty setting of the whole game. I mean,
I mean that's something we want it to be challenging, right?
Okay.
But we also understand that like a lot of the value in the game is to be able to enjoy the characters in the world. So that's why the backstage is so important, right? Like, because if you die a lot, you'll spend time in the backstage, and the backstage has to be really fun. And hopefully, like, the more you die, the stronger you'll get, right? Because you'll grow your fan base, your fan base and your fame, and then you'll get those skins, and so the game will get easier and easier. So hopefully, like, the game starts as a challenging game that, if you play long enough, becomes easy just because of the progression, right? So we're thinking more in those terms. About balancing, I think it's going to be like, we don't want it to feel too punishing, right? Like, we want it to feel fair, right? And that's just testing. So like we hope to test out a lot between now and the early access release next year, and hopefully get to a good balance, because the problem is that we're getting too good, right? So we tested in house, and in the end, it's like, we know the game very well.
True.
So like,
you're not the best playtesters for this, right? Because in and out the whole game. Yeah.
So we want to find a balance where it's approachable. We'll also have it. We'll be playing it with players at Gamescom in Germany.
Okay.
So there'll be a demo there, and there'll be an updated demo at Comic Con, because we're gonna have a little section, I don't know exactly what it is, but we'll be present at Comic Con in Malaga in September, and then we will release a demo in October. So we're gonna be like testing out with players constantly.
I see. What was the original goal with the length of the game? Because I think it's also important to talk about the length of the game, since you mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the length of the game depends a lot on like what we can reach on Kickstarter, and like if we can get an additional funding.
Okay.
Like the game should, like, once you do a full run and you beat the game, it's a roguelike, or like roguelike-esque. Like it should be like no longer than 45-50 minutes, but to get there, like I'm hoping that you have to do like 20 to 30 hour into the game, and if you want to beat it with all the contenders, then we're talking about like closer to like 60, that's 50-60. That's what we would love. It's possible there's going to be shorter. It's possible that people will be really, really good and beat it sooner than that, of course. But what Hades does really, really well, and that's one of the things that I wanna inspire the game with, is that the narrative allows you to play for longer, right?
Yeah.
So
it gives you additional lore.
Exactly. If you go back to back, it's like, yeah, you beat the game, now you're a champion, but like, have you gotten this, or have you, like, one of the rewards that we want to add with the stretch goals is that we want to add like a new game plus mode, but in our game is going to be the new fame plus, right? And it's like harder difficulty and ways to like extend the game. So that's something that we're excited about, to extend the life of the game.
I see. We touched the topic of like having a vision for a creative project like a game, and also listening to consumers' feedback. How do you balance those two when it comes to Guts TV?
Yeah, it's tricky. You have to test things out.
Okay.
And you have to be willing to be wrong, because a lot of times there'll be arguments in the about a particular feature or whatever, or debate. And the thing is, debate is healthy, but if there's a debate about something, either you wholeheartedly believe in the vision and like make really sure that you're working really hard to make that vision work, and also you have to put it out to players and be willing to be wrong, so it's tricky, because if you always fall on the vision and you don't listen to players, you'll make it's masturbation, right? But if you only listen to the players and you forget the vision, you have a generic game, because over time, the more people are commenting about something, the more generic it will get.
True.
Because you don't.
It's happening a lot to a lot of the games recently, in my opinion.
Yeah. The thing is, if you want to please everyone, then you have something generic.
But I don't think it's because developers want to please everyone. It's because like they are afraid of like getting very negative opinions, and they are pushed back to the corner by too many player voices and hatred. That's a topic that a lot of times got brought up throughout my dev life shows and in other territories of my own life, that I feel like nowadays with the power of the internet, people have too much voice when it comes to the creative process itself and the developers and the creators. Because like, if you think about, like, always name this example of the Golem game, developers had to like say that, hey, we are sorry that we made a wrong game and a bad game. And in my opinion, it wasn't that bad game. Like it wasn't even a bad game at all, but it was considered one of the worst games of all time, although in my opinion it wasn't. And a lot of my friends haven't even played it through, but were consuming media outlet reviews that game was like a 2 out of 10, and they said, yeah, it's a shitty game. And I asked them, have you played it? And they were like, no, 0% I played it. So it's crazy to me that nowadays players have too much voice when it comes to like forming opinions about the game, and it pushes back to the corner those developers who would like to satisfy those players, or at least afraid of those opinions. So it's a very very hard thing to balance, in my opinion.
I will agree, but I will like put it in a different way. It's like you're the developer, so the responsibility is yours. You cannot blame the mass, because the mass doesn't have an opinion.
I do blame the mass. Sorry, I do blame.
No, it's fine. It's like we can argue and we can disagree.
Yeah, no, sure. I agree with you. It's just I do blame, because I see the how the hatred can change the industry for the worse, and how people, since they are pushed back to the corner, are afraid to go public. I met developers who got so many hatred mails and threatening mails just because, for example, they used Lovecraft, who was like connected with some political people or political era people in the history, that these developers had to like back out to go public with their game. So it's crazy, right? That you are making a creative thing at your own, and you're putting it out in front of the players, and suddenly someone will think, hey, it's a political issue that you put into the game, although it's not, and they will say, hey, fuck you, hey, die, or something like that. So it's not fair. Like, it's not how human beings should behave, in my opinion. That's why I blame the masses.
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's not fair, but the thing is, like, the responsibility is the developer's responsibility, regardless. So it doesn't matter who's to blame. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. In the end, it's you who releases the game. It's you who Like, the mass is not going to make the game better, but you can. So in the end, like that's why I say like it's very tricky, because if you listen too much to the wrong people, you'll make a bad decision. You're absolutely right about that. But it's your decision. It's not the mass decision. Like you made the decision. So and I feel like I made bad decisions before. Like it's like it's we're all guilty. But I think you get stronger by learning. For example, now like we never had a community, right? That's something we always like worked in a vacuum. And now we have a small community, right? Because we started a couple of months ago to build up a community for GOT CV, and it's really interesting, right? Because if you try to bring a normal person to your community, means that person you have no control over what they think or what they like, what they believe or like how they react to things. But you bring somebody because your project is different, you'll bring different people to your thing, right? So those people will feel at home because they're not the average gamer, right? And I feel like communities are built like that. It's like, oh, I'm not like everyone. I'm a little different. So when games are different, they bring a great community, because the community is all about like the uniqueness of the thing, right? But when you don't have that, I feel it's really easy. Like, for example, let's say the political thing, right? Let's say that somebody makes a game that's like completely like communist. It's like the most communist game. This Coalition was a little bit of that. But anyway, like if somebody makes that game, the community is not going to have any right-wing people. So people are not going to be complaining within the community about the game being too communist, right? Because everybody is communist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you make a game that is like Lovecraft and Lovecraft this, Lovecraft that, and then suddenly it's like it's communist Lovecraft, then half the people in the community will be like, "Fuck you," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came here for Lovecraft, right?
Yeah, but in most of the cases, in my opinion, it's not intentional. Like developers or creators don't want to hurt like players' heart or players' opinion. It's ties up to the quote of my one of my friends said that if you like drop a pen and if it ends up dropping on its left or right side, it means that some people will think that you're a right-handed or left-handed person in political views, but it's stupid, right? Because it's not. And I think in creative process, it's the same, that mostly I think it's not intentional from creative people to put those
Right.
things into the craft that they make. It just happens because they may inherited it from their parents or from their worldviews, but it doesn't mean that they agree with that. And that's the common issue I see, is that it doesn't mean that you agree with that thing, right? Because, for example, if I don't know, if I say that I don't have a problem with two male or two female kissing each other, this statement of mine probably end up hurting someone who has a problem with it, right? And if I write a book about it, it might end up hurting a person who has a problem with it, right? So it's crazy. And I don't think that creative process should be about judging each other. That's what I mean, is that, like, I always bring this example of, like, when we were analyzing poems in schools, we never said that, for example, a Hungarian author of books and poems, Petőfi, is shit. We never said that. We were analyzing it, and that's how you educate people to form opinions. So at the end of the day, nobody will be held out with the opinion of, hey, it's shit, it's bad. Like, none of the creators or the players.
No, but I mean, with this, I absolutely agree. And the thing is, like, yes, like I feel like the anonymous internet mass, right, is very dangerous. Like, because anything can be a message that people will, like, mistake, or, like, people will run with and will use. So I feel like it's very important. It's very important these days to just be very bold, not be, like, wishy-washy, because I feel like the bolder you are, the more clear it is what you're doing, like the the less problems you're gonna have, because you're right, somebody's gonna judge it, and
true, it will be always that one person who will judge you, and it's not because you're an asshole or you did something wrong. It's just because their vision is not aligning with yours. It's fine, but that's the case, that it's fine to disagree. But when you are going into the direction that you are threatening people and you are making, like, hate mails or, like, hate review bombing, it's crazy to me. Like, nobody is satisfied with that, none of the players and none of the developers, right? And I don't know, it's just crazy to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's something I joke about and I say often, is like, the human species wasn't ready for cars and telephones. It's definitely not ready for the internet.
Very true. Yeah, very true. Switching back to a personal question again, how have you changed as a person in other territories of your own life, from being a filmmaker and making games? If there were, of course, any changes.
No, I think we've talked about it at length earlier, but like, I can tell you, like, it's the getting used to the fact that you're doing something for people, which is kind of what we're talking about now. It's like, you need to accept that your work is not for yourself. Your work is for players. Your work is for viewers, readers, like, and it's their thing, right? Like, so, like, letting go of your ego and be like, hey, like, if you don't like it, don't buy it, right?
Sure.
But if people don't buy it, like, accept it. They're not wrong. They just
Sure.
You didn't find a way to convince them, or you didn't make the right game or the right product. And I feel like that makes you very humble. I mean, in my case, like, I was not humble. I was not humble at all when I was younger, and I feel like it's very humbling when you realize that it doesn't matter how much effort or how talented you are. If your thing is not working, it's not working, and you have to be like, okay, it's not. I don't have to kill myself. I don't have to jump out the window. I have to keep going and get better and see what you learn from the lesson, right? From the failure. And I think that's changed me a lot, because I feel like I'm much more calm about failure and conflict. I feel like working with people is really hard. And if you're a creator by yourself, that's one thing. But if you're a creator with people, like, learning that not everybody's going to be always happy, that not everybody's going to agree with you, that you have to deal with conflict, that you have to agree, that you have to deal with people who disagree with you and still like make it work. I feel like there's a lot of like there's a lot of humility, and there's a lot of like listening, and there's a lot of learning that you have to do, and that made me a better person in general. I think a better like friend, and a better family member, and a better boyfriend. So yeah, so I think games in particular, but like creative work in general, is like I feel like everybody who comes to creative work most of the time has some kind of ego and some kind of like,
You have to have it, in my opinion. My voice acting teacher always told us that it's rather to have like a very high ego, because you can always lower it down, rather have a very low ego, because it's way harder to put those bricks up above each other.
I like that a lot. I'm gonna steal it. I like that. It's good. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I still have an ego, of course, and I still have a belief in what I think is right, and my belief is getting more solid over time, right? But it's also like becoming more respectful. I'm becoming more, like clear about what I don't like about myself, and what can I do about it, and what things I can do to be better. Thanks to working with a lot of people, and also failure. Just like showing your stuff to people. Showing your stuff to people is like the most important thing. And I always tell people in the team is like you should show your stuff as often as possible. And like, no, but I don't want to get feedback because it's not ready. Like everything is always ready for feedback. You can tell me that you're not ready to do anything about the feedback.
True. I agree.
You should always be ready to get feedback, because feedback is what makes you know if what you try to do you're accomplishing. Because people can like, and I always say this to my team, it's like, when people repeatedly tell you something that is wrong, like 90% of the time, they're right. When people tell you how to fix it, 90% of the time, they're wrong, right? So get feedback, but just pick it as a like
reminder.
And not like as a compass, like telling you where the wrong things are and where the good things are. Because if people tell you like, oh, that's good, like you should do blah blah blah, like, oh, fuck blah blah blah. Let me look at that direction, because there's something good there, right? Yeah. Oh, this is wrong, and you're like, no, you're wrong. You're not getting it. And it's like, no, if people tell you something's wrong, like look at it. You may be like, it's too early for them to notice that is not wrong, but they're probably right that you are not conveying the right thing. The mechanic might not be exactly what you think it is, So yeah.
True. Switching back to the topic of the game itself, I'm a huge fan of physical editions when it comes to video games, so I will have to ask this. Will physical editions next to your game will be only available via Kickstarter, or players will be able to also buy it in stores via other like companies?
That's not up to me. We're talking to a physical edition publisher.
Okay.
We haven't signed a deal yet, so but we will probably try to have a physical edition. I don't know if it's going to be on shelves at big malls or anything, but there will be a physical edition. You'll probably be able to get it online. That's most likely. That we're like 80-90% there, like, but yeah, nothing signed yet.
Okay. Are you guys also planning like to have merchandise, like figurines or statues? Because it would make sense, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we did a little bit of that at some point, but I feel like we're building the community now. So making something that is too involved right now is going to be a little hard. We're having trouble with the jockstrap right now because of the vendor situation. Anything that is like official merch, that is like easy to produce in the States or somewhere like that, that's going to be a priority right now. if we're making anything that is like made in Spain, like figurines, like limited figurines, or like broader, like longer, series of things, that's gonna be after Kickstarter for sure.
I see. I see. Throughout the process of making Guts TV, what was your favorite part of the process itself?
The favorite part, I mean, this is gonna be simple, but like Anna, our character designer, I've been a fan of hers for over 12 years. I follow her on Instagram for a long time. We hired her to do a little project 5 years ago, and I've always been obsessed with her work. And when we were like gearing up towards Guts TV, and like we signed with Starbreeze in 2023, and they canceled the funding in 2024 because Payday 3 was a disaster. And anyway, in 2023, when we were about to sign, even before signing, I was like, "Hey, Anna, like we want to count on you, and we want to give you work for a few months and whatever." And she was like, "Well, actually, like I just got offered a job for this like mobile company, like doing this bullshit. And if I want to work with you guys, like your project is like so amazing. Like we had worked already for like a few weeks on a few designs, and she was like if I could really go with you guys, it will need to be a year." And I'm like, "A year with you?" And like, so we've been working together since 2023, continuously with Anna, and that to me is a dream because she's not a gamer. Like she's not. Okay. She brings so much. She doesn't play games.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's really good because she brings like a fresh
take, yeah.
Yeah, fresh take on video game characters, on world building. I feel she's so inspiring, and her stuff is just like so spectacular. The way she conveys expression and motion, and influences a lot of what we're doing. Like, right, like it makes me write better characters. It makes combat feel like stronger. It's just there's a lot to it that is really cool, and I feel like working with somebody who's so special like adds so much to a project. And then like just building the world. Like, I mean, I'm the creative director, so like what's the most exciting to me is building worlds and creating a universe that didn't exist. Just being able to like be like, okay, what's ridiculous about the world we live in, but we never talk about it, right?
True,
like
true.
and also like what's what hasn't been done in video games, right? Because there's a lot of games that are like, oh, it's a TV show, so let's put some like lights and an announcer and like and cameras.
Like you said, they do not see behind the curtain. That's why they use these cliches, we could say, yeah.
Oh, you cut off your.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I just said that's why they use these cliches, because they do not see behind the curtain of like the fame, right, and the Hollywood and everything that you experience, like you mentioned.
Right. Exactly. So adding all that stuff into the game and like bringing all that world building, and I think even on the Kickstarter you can feel that there's some authenticity to it.
True. It's unique, like I said, yeah.
And just making something that people resonate with, and that feels like, oh yeah, it's like Hades, but it's something I haven't seen.
It's still way different. Yeah, exactly.
Something unique. I think that's the most exciting thing to me. Like video games, like in film, it's very hard to make something new, right? Because there's like 140 years of history of cinema, right? But in video games, it should be easier to make things that feel fresh, right?
True.
And I feel like indie games are doing a lot of really cool stuff.
Like you mentioned that bike combat idea of yours, right?
Exactly. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. Like Peak right now, like True. it's like climbing but co-op and like with this aesthetic, and it's funny, and I'm like, there's been a lot of like climbing games, and like Zelda added the climbing to Breath of the Wild, but then these guys do this thing, and this is awesome, right?
True.
So that's kind of the things that are exciting to me, like getting a high concept and like making a game that nobody has played before.
True. You have spoken about your favorite part of the process of making video games. What about the most challenging part or parts of the process itself, making video games?
Yeah, working with people.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, no, I mean, I'm kidding. The thing is, right now, video games are really tough to finance. Because the last 2-3 years have been really rough for the industry. Like investors and publishers invested a lot of money after COVID, and a lot of games are flopping, right? A lot of games and a lot of publishers are scared, and a lot of investors are scared. So it's a really cool moment for indies, but like we were in a tough situation because we were an indie that signed with a double A, or even if you want AAA studio like Starbreeze, right? So we had a roadmap, we had a lot of money in the bank, and we had a four-year deal that is going to be allow us to make everything we wanted, right? But then in summer 2023, we went from 15 to 35 in 6 months, right? We got a new office, and we renovated the office to accommodate all the new people. And then in February, they announced us that the project was going to be canceled, and they'll keep funding only until June, and then after that, we'll be done, right? So that means that since then, we've been laying people off. We're 12 now, plus a couple of contractors. So just like, it's brutal because money is not coming, and we know we have a really good game because we signed it once with a major publisher. We were really, really close with another 2 publishers. We went through the due diligence and everything, but in the end, like one of them, the CEO of the fund that owns the publisher, was like, "We're not going to finance new IP after 4 months of negotiation." That's brutal, because we counted on that, right? And then we had another one, and they loved it. They were so excited about it. And then the week they were going to tell us if we were greenlit to go into production, they changed CEOs. They fired the CEO, and they laid off like 30 people. So they obviously didn't sign the project. They told us that in the midterm, like they were not going to sign anything. But if we were alive later on, like, let's talk again, And that was also, yeah, that was like in April, something like that. So that's in April. We were like, we're doing a Kickstarter. Like we've moved very fast, and the Kickstarter is going really well. We're very excited about it, but we didn't know we were going to do a Kickstarter in March. And that's crazy. That's insane.
True. That's also fast-paced action, we could say so, right? It ties to the game.
Yeah, it's very fast-paced. It's action.
It's real-life issues put into the game, right?
That's right.
Real-life struggles, yeah.
That's right. That's correct. So that's really tough. Like financing and video games right now is really hard. It doesn't matter how good your game is.
True.
Another thing that's happening, and I hope people in the audience, if they're game developers, they will find this interesting. I think. I mean, interesting and terrifying. Like talking to publishers, especially when we're about to sign with a publisher twice, right? Talking to a publisher, this publisher is like, they were really excited about the game, and we're gonna work together, right? We're like, it was a done deal. We got through all the green lights and everything. And talking is like, it's never been so easy for a publisher to pick projects, because there's a lot of really good projects with a publisher, right? So it's harder than ever to get picked up, because you're not competing with like 2 or 3 people who have a good game. You're competing with every good game in the industry, because none of them have publisher, because publishers are closing out. right? So all the publishers are scared of spending money, and at the same time, all of the games that are good, knocking on the doors, are desperate for their money. So publishers are terrified and also have so much to choose from. So it's really hard to get picked up right now.
True, very true. Yeah, and there are publishers which, like you said, might end up like loving the idea, but they might change CEO and then just say no, fuck no, which is also very scary, right?
The thing is, nobody said. I mean, of course, there are publishers that we've been talking to, and like they said no. But the thing is, like the better publishers that we've talked to, they said yes, but and that's the thing, like because we almost signed with 2 publishers in the last 6 months. I'll say names. The CEO of Embracer was the one who, after 4.5 months of negotiations and marketing plans and all the stuff, like we got through all the green lights of the publisher, all of the green lights from the team, from the board, from the CEO. So then we went to the Embracer recommendation team. They recommended signing the game, and after that, the last thing was the CEO of Embracer, and the CEO of Embracer was like, "We're not going to sign new IPs." So if everyone knew that they were not going to sign new IPs 4 months earlier,
why did they waste your time? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So everybody's fucked. Like the industry is in a really tough moment.
True.
So that's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is making the game.
Yeah, it's always the money, right? It's always, sadly, even we don't want to use it, it's always the money, sadly. Yeah.
Time and money.
True. Very true. Very true.
Yep.
You have spoken about a lot of times, and we touched a lot of times, this topic of like working with others. Do you believe that in perfect synergy when it comes to working with others, or is it something that develops out through the process of working with others, or it's a mix of both?
It's definitely a mix.
Okay.
The thing is when you are, and this is also advice for developers, but when you're putting together a team, it's not like, what's important is not that you have one of each, right? It's not, what's important is not that, I have one designer, I have like 3 devs, 3 programmers, and I have 1 artist, 2D, and one so therefore I can do the game. No, like that's not how it works. Like the person is almost more important than the role, because teams, especially when they're smaller, like under 10 people, like teams need to like do a lot of things, because one person needs to be able to do more than one thing. True. Because maybe the programmer is also a TikToker. Like, true. Why not?
True. You mentioned it, by the way, at the beginning of our interview too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you have the right personalities and the right people who want to work together, who complement each other, because maybe like you don't have a designer, but maybe like one of the artists and one of the programmers really love design, and they're designing together, and they really complement each other. That's better than having a designer that doesn't get along with anyone, or that wants to make one game and the rest of the team wants to make a different game. Like, so
sure, because there are those connections, unspoken connections between the whole project, and it's always the project which is more important than the people, right?
Right. So when you see a small team making a really, really good game, those people complement each other. Those people understand each other, and those people understand their weaknesses.
It's like basketball, like you said. All of the players complement each other.
Exactly. So it's not about like having one of everything. It's about like having the right people.
Yeah.
It's creating a team. And sometimes like you can grow into that, but I feel like the bigger the game, the bigger the team, the harder it is to do that. Because if you're with people all the time, you're working with people constantly for 8 hours a day, then you'll develop a relationship. But if you are working with a different person most of the time, and this other person is working with this other team or whatever, at some point these 2 people will be in a room and they will not understand each other. And they might have been working together for a year, but they don't complement each other.
True.
So So it's important to have a lot of communication, and it's important to understand that we're people and that everybody has limitations
True.
and everybody has strengths. So putting together a team is like be very, very aware of the strengths of the people and be very, very aware of the limitations and weaknesses. And when somebody's really good at something but very weak at something, make sure that this person has somebody who complements the weakness with a strength over here, and then you have a great team. Because nobody's perfect, nobody's strong at everything, right? And personalities and talents need to be worked on. It's and yeah, I'll
Very
stop there.
true. Very true. Very true. Very true. How your perspective changed as from the player's side since you make games now?
Well, I respect a lot more some games that I might not think they're amazing, but I respect the amount of work and the craft, right, that goes into the game. Especially the importance of user feedback. User feedback is everything. Like honestly, like for example, in my team, and I think it happens in all the teams, but like artists want to have art to show off and the scene. Fuck that. Like gray box. Do gray box until you cannot do gray box anymore, but work on your user feedback. Because if you have gray box and everything is just fucking cubes, but you have good user feedback, you have the right user feedback on the UI, the right particles or VFX, so it feels like it should, right? See, if the control feels like it should, and the user feedback, again, sound effects, the particles, VFX, UI, it doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to sound good, but if you have the right user feedback and you have the right control, you have a game, right? And a lot of times I feel like in studios like mine, you immediately want to see pretty things, right? And that kills the process.
True.
Like jumping too fast to pretty things, it's a mistake.
True.
Yeah, so now I value much more user feedback in games. Even if the game doesn't look amazing, if the user feedback is right, it feels amazing.
True. There's the high hopes of players' perspective that I always mention. That I feel like a lot of players nowadays, especially, they have these like high standards of like what could be a good game. But when you strip down and asking them what a good game would be for them, they might not be able to answer it, and that's how they end up being sad about a game, which might end up not for their lookalike and what they like or not.
Yeah, I really like, you probably know this, the Game Designers Toolkit, that YouTube channel, right? It's amazing. And I feel like he talks a lot about user feedback. It's not always user feedback per se. Sometimes it's talking about a mechanic or like a feature, but it always like touches on the user feedback, right? And I think it's really remarkable. Everybody go watch it if you haven't. But I feel it's really remarkable how like the juice of the experience is down to very little things.
True,
right?
True. It was always like that in video games, in my opinion.
It's always been. That's the thing. Like you watch Super Mario, and its user feedback is amazing, right?
True.
Because when you hit a cube, when you hit like any of the cubes, it feels amazing, right? Like the control and the inertia of the movement, right? That feels amazing. And when you get hit by an enemy and you go smaller, bigger, you get a power up and you get double the size, or suddenly you have the fire flower. The how that's communicated to the player. It's masterful. It looks simple, but it's not simple. The fact that Mario goes from the regular Mario to the white vest, it's amazing, right? Because white contrasts much better with the fireballs than the red. Like there's like just so many little things about the juice
that people might not notice even, right?
Right. And it's like the coins, like the coins in Super Mario. That's addictive. That's like heroin.
True. Very true. Yeah.
It's like cocaine. Like every time you get a every time, like, not that I know what cocaine feels like, but like every time you hit the box, right? It's like the box changes, it blinks, the coin like, bling,
True.
like it's so good. Like it's so good.
True.
If your game doesn't have that, it doesn't matter how pretty it is.
True.
It just
True.
really doesn't.
True.
So user feedback and control first, and then make the game pretty afterwards.
Yeah. It's like another example of like a shooter game where like if you make a headshot to an enemy, it will like click for you, right? Or make a very unique sound, like in Quake or Unreal Tournament or in Halo.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That user feedback. It's like you can play a game in Greybox and it can feel amazing, or you can play a finished game and you're like, I don't quite.
Something's missing.
I don't think it's fun. No, it's not that it's not fun. It's like the dopamine that the user feedback gives you. It's not there. So therefore, you are like, "Where's my drug?"
True.
Like I need it. I need it. Give
Very true. Okay.
Yeah.
Before I ask some more questions, are you down to move into chat-oriented questions as well? And of course, if there's any topic that you would like to talk about before I go into chat questions that we might not end up touching or talking about, let me know.
Yes. Everybody go to Kickstarter.
True.
It's live right now. There's a lot of discounts and exclusive rewards. There's a demo. There's also a link to our Discord channel. So please check it out and let me know what you think.
Promotion time. It matters in my opinion. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Okay. Thank you. Let us know, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know if there is any question, and don't forget to check out the demo and also the Kickstarter. It's 26 days, right? Till the end of the Kickstarter.
6 days left. Every day feels like a week.
True. Yeah. Hölgyek, urak, ha bármilyen kérdés van, akkor nyugodtan írjátok le, és akkor fordítok. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, if there is any question. Let us know. You will be able to ask in Discord as well, as for when it comes to questions. But if there is any question that you would like to ask on stream, let us know. While we're waiting for questions, we talked about it a bit, but as a summarization, what would be your advice for developers? You mentioned some of your advices, but what additional advice do you have to developers, even if they are veterans, even if they are starters?
Yeah. I mean, to everyone, control and user feedback first. I'm repeating myself, but that's important. And then if you're starting out or building a studio, or you are thinking about you're working at some bigger studio and you want to start your own thing, just don't pick people because they're good or because they're coming from this big company and they have a lot of experience. Pick them because they have the right skill set and the right attitude that complements yours. Like, don't pick somebody because they're like a lot of times, like when you hire or you start working with somebody who's a veteran, depending on what kind of veteran is, they have their own ways, right? They learn. Or
again, ego. When we can circle it back to ego as well.
Ego is always there, but like sometimes you'll have somebody who's been working on some bigger game, right? Therefore, like you assume, if this person has done this at a AAA level, then when this person comes to my indie game, then my indie game is going to be AAA. Well, the truth is that person who's coming from AAA is going to be like, where's my restaurant check? Like, what are my benefits? Do I have a gym? Like everybody needs to work for me because I'm the only technical artist here. Like, where's my team of technical artists? It's like, well, there's only you. Like, so I feel like there's a big difference between really wanting to make a game and to being like a seasoned developer, right? So some seasoned developers really want to make a game. If they really want to make a game and they want to like go down to like indie development, they can be really helpful and they can bring a lot of energy and a lot of like experience and vision. and it can be really good. But sometimes you need to, jump into a relationship not knowing if it's the right relationship, right? So be brave, do it, but like I feel like finding the right people to make games with, it's very important, right? And I don't think it's easy to do it right on the first time. So try.
You have to start, make the first move.
Yeah. Like I think I admire solo developers. I'm curious about being a solo developer. I want to see maybe down the line if I'm too tired and I get a little older and like in a couple of years to see what I could do by myself. But I feel like solo developers have this great advantage, which is they don't have to fight or they don't have to convince anyone.
True.
Right?
Very true.
So
that's freedom. Yeah.
There's a lot of freedom, and if you're comfortable with that, user feedback and control. If you wanna make a game with more people, don't think that don't think that it's gonna be easy, even if they're your friends. Think not so much about the friendship, but about like the ability to complement each other. Because if two people who think very similarly, don't complement each other when they're working, there'll be fights, but if two people who think very differently complement each other, they can get to a point where like it's better than what any of them could come up with.
True.
So I feel like having people who are different and that bring different strengths and different weaknesses so they can cover each other, I think that's a very important thing in game development. And oftentimes it's not about the game, right? I feel like a lot of people will try to make a copy of a game that they like, and then not put enough of themselves, right? And then over time, like if it's a team of 2, 3, 4, 5 people, at some point, you are going to be making a copy of whatever. But if you have a team that complements each other, the right way, you might find a way to make a game that nobody else has made.
But it also ties up to the topic of like some people might not be brave enough to express their feelings, or might not be that creative in order to express their feelings. So that's how they end up like having the influence only be brought up by those games that they played. That's why I see some games that they, for example, like you mentioned, copy paste the genre or the exact setting of another game, but it doesn't have that very unique touch of the creative person. It can happen, but in my opinion, it's not, because like the creative person did not want it to do it. Like I read an interview about one of these indie games which had this issue, and the creator said that he was never like into the, how to say it in English, it's like stripping down to a drama about himself, like what issues he had in his life, and like just showing his soul to the people, and he rather just stayed away from it, and he just put the influence from games that he grew up on, because it was more important to him to have those positive vibes from his life rather than expressing the negative vibes, because he was afraid that people might judge him or might dislike him because of those negative vibes. So it's understandable in some cases, in my opinion.
It's tough, but like if you're not creative, but
I agree with you. So don't get me wrong. I agree with you on that. It's just I can also see the other side of the same coin, in my opinion, that matters.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you are a game developer of any kind, like, be very honest about what you're good at and what you're bad at.
True.
And
it's true for other territories of our own life, right? So it's not just about game development.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what the hardest, in my opinion, when it comes to people, to say what we are good in it or what we are not. Yeah. Oh, there is a question, by the way, from Shongoku. Let me translate it from Hungarian to English. Was there any point in the process of game development that you got stuck, and when it was like hard to move forward with the development phases?
Yeah, always, every day. Yeah, I mean, getting stuck in game development can be so many things, because getting stuck, like, again, like the simplest thing is like not enough money, not enough
Yeah, like you
time.
mentioned. Yeah.
So that's like, so you are always about to get stuck on something. The other thing, and I think that's the most common. I don't think it's my studio. I think like it's more or less every studio. Is the it's letting art or letting production dictate what the game should be.
Okay.
So if you don't have the freedom to make prototypes and to try things out, because you're short on time and money, therefore, like, like, hey, we need the environment for this arena or this map or whatever, like, oh, I need like the palm tree with the thing, like if you get into that, like, you get stuck constantly, right? So I feel like if gameplay goes first, right, and you don't focus too much on making the game look pretty, you should be able to find ways to test out your mechanics, right? If you do that, like, you'll get stuck. We all get stuck. It's just a matter, like, like, what do you define, how you learn from being stuck. But if you follow with what's fun, and then find ways to test it, you'll never get stuck with what's fun, right? You can get stuck with production, you can get stuck with money, you can get stuck with like people who don't get along, you can get stuck with a lot of things. But the problem is that if you ever hear that we're waiting on design, like the art team is like, we're waiting on design, you have a problem, because like art should never wait for design, right?
True.
And if you hear that design is waiting for art, you have a problem, because design doesn't need art to be fun, right?
True.
So that's one of the things that I think is very important to realize, that advancing is making the game. It's not dressing the game with beautiful art.
Waiting for something to happen. Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah.
That's, I think that's, it's a good question. Yeah, we always get stuck, but it's always a miscommunication. It's always somebody saying like, I cannot do my job because I'm waiting on, like, if you have that problem, something is missing, because like nobody should be waiting for anything, like, unless you're finishing the game, right? Like, because you like, I don't have the VFX, so like it's really hard to do the user feedback for this attack. Buy the fucking VFX for $2, or like get some free VFX on the store, put them in there, and then test it out, and then decide if it's the right kind of VFX, and then you'll make the VFX later. Don't wait on the VFX to be done.
True.
Test it out.
That's a hand-holding problem, in my opinion, which is common in every creative like form or life form when it comes to make any craft. That a lot of people are like waiting for others to like help them, right? And that's how they end up like not moving forward with their craft, like you mentioned. Yeah. Thank you, by the way, for the question. Thank you. No, go for it. Sorry for interrupting.
No, thank you for the question. No, it's just like, if somebody in all creative, but if somebody's like, I'm waiting on blah 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 to do what I need to do, that person, there's a problem. I'm not saying that person is wrong. I'm not saying that person is a bad person or a bad developer, but something is missing in the way you guys are making it.
True. Yeah, but I think it's this issue goes deeper, and it would be a long topic to discuss, or a long conversation. Just to add to this conversation, is that like it's more about parenting and also education, that people are not taught in a way that they should be, about like how to get involved into things alone. Mm-hmm. And like you said, not to wait for others, but to be creative on your own as well. to figure it out in that box that you're in, right? It has limitations, of course, but in that box you have to find those Lego pieces in order to build something that needs to be done. So yeah.
Yeah. One of the best ways to be creative in game development is be creative about what you should be doing now. Because if you feel like you are waiting on something,
true.
What else can you do?
It's like opening the door, but you can't find the key, right? Where should I look for?
Yeah. Again, like there's always more control, polish, and user feedback that you could be doing. There's never enough.
True. And you could be keeping yourself forever with the project, right? If you would like to fix all the bugs, but that's impossible. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, there are more questions, by the way. 2 questions goes from Minnie. Let me translate it for you. When you decided what you would like to do, wait, let me read it again. Okay, so when you decided that you would like to be the creative director of the team, how could you like see yourself in this position, and how could you feel about this task of yours as a creative director and the founder of the team?
Right. No, I didn't decide shit.
Okay. It's an honest answer.
The thing is, when I got together with my partners, and we were like talking about this, it's like, okay, what are we good at? You know, what are our weaknesses? And at some point, it's like I was doing some producing, you know, and I was like, guys, like I'm bad at producing. Like I'm not the most organized. I'm really good at opening cans of worms, but I'm bad at closing them, you know, like so at the beginning I was doing a lot of things, and I still do a lot of things. Like I'm the creative director, but I'm dying for somebody to do sound, because I'm doing also the sound. I'm also doing a lot of the pitching. I'm right now I'm designing stuff. So I'm the narrative designer, screenwriter. I do all the voiceovers, the directing. I do some of the characters. Like it's like I do a lot of things. The creative director sounds really good, but it's just a title, something that I have to put on.
It's understandable. Yeah.
You know, the thing is, I come from 20 years of working, right? So I've been a camera operator on film. I've been a director and a writer for a long time. I've done a little bit of acting. I used to manage a stationery store for 3 years. So I've done a lot of shit, right? And my role is very like, I wear a lot of hats. So creative director in a small studio doesn't mean that I am the leader of this team. Like sometimes I'm the leader of this team, but like what it means that I can do a lot of things. And if I need to get on Photoshop and do some graphic design and like put something together for UI, like I'll do that. If I need to like review and like play the game and like be like, okay, we need to work on this user feedback, or like the flow needs a couple more touch points, like I work on that. If I have to like pitch or like go to Gamescom or whatever, like I'll do that. So it's more like I can wear a lot of hats, and I've been doing this for a long time. I speak English fluently. Like I have some things that I've been working on for the last 20 years. And that allows me to be creative director. And the reason that I'm the creative director is because like 7, 8 years ago, I got offered a job as a creative director of this virtual reality studio. And I was like, oh, creative director, never thought about this. So I did that for a couple of years. And now I'm like, well, I guess I'm a creative director now. But it's not. But I was like looking for like a creative director job.
I see.
My work as a creator and as a filmmaker and as a writer and putting together decks and pitching, like the work that I was doing for my own projects happened to align with the skills necessary to be a creative director at that particular studio.
I see.
So when I got offered the job, I'm like, yeah, I'm perfect. But I didn't know. I didn't know that I was perfect. I just worked for 10, 15 years until I got to that point, right?
I see. Thank you for the question and answer as well. Thank you. There is also another question from Minnie. Let me translate it.
Awesome.
So this question ties up to the past question of hers. How scary it is to like lead a project. And
it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, I think scary is a strong word. I think scary means ego, right? Means that you're scared of people thinking something about you, or means that you are scared of failing, and that people will know that you failed, So scare means that you have an ego about it, right? Like your ego is fragile, and your ego wants to be perfect all the time. Therefore, like if you feel that your ego is at risk, then you won't do the thing, right? That's
True.
something that we're talking about. So,
True.
when you say scary, that you're scared of being, if you like, I understand what you mean. It's like imposter syndrome, right? Like at some point, somebody's gonna come and is gonna discover that I'm really bad at this, or that I don't know what I'm doing, right? But the truth is that you have to accept that you're gonna fail, and you're gonna make bad decisions, and you're gonna fuck up. And if you are able to learn and be like, okay, I made this big mistake, I'm not gonna do it again. No, my next big mistake is gonna be a different mistake. like leading a team or being a creative director means that you have to be okay with making mistakes and being wrong. And sometimes you have to be like, everybody says like it's white, and you are like, no, it's red, right?
True.
And sometimes it'll be red, and people will not recognize it.
True.
Like people will not say like, oh, you were right all along.
True.
They might think
they won't clap you, right? And cherish you.
They won't clap you, they won't cheer, they won't say anything.
True.
But if you said red and everybody said white, and it's white, everybody will let you know.
True. That's how people are. Yeah.
Everybody will let you know, and you have to be okay with it. You have to learn that when that happens, you have to be like, hey guys, you guys were right, I was wrong. Like, thank you so much for your patience with me, and thank you so much for like willing to try red. I thought it was gonna work, it didn't. But thank you so much for like actually like being wrong with me. And like now we can go back to white. If you don't do it right, and I haven't done it right a lot of times. I've been like,
fuck you.
You're fired. No, but if you have a good attitude about it, over time, you get better at it. But it's very important. It's very important that, if that happens, and that happened to me, if that happens where you're wrong, you like have to be like good about it. You have to be like smart about it, learn a lot from it. And if it happens that you are right and a person is not working out, like because that person is not understanding or is like fighting you on it, and it's happened like for a long time, that person is not right for you. And you might not be right for that person. So depending on who you are, like if the person who's not right is your boss,
that's why it's hard to work with friends, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is tough. Yeah. But if the person who's right is you, and you are not the boss, you might have to think about quitting, right?
True.
And if the person who's right is you, and you're the boss, you might have to think that person needs to be laid off.
True.
And it's tough because working with people is hard, and because sometimes you have to tell a friend like, hey, this is not working out.
True. Yeah.
And it's tough. It's just tough. So it's not scary, but it's tough.
Yeah. Thank you for the question and answer as well from Minnie as well. Thank you. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any more questions? Let us know. Let us know. While we are waiting for any more question, I have some closing questions for you because I appreciate your time, and I'm never not sure when to end this conversation. So, what about the future? Of course, we cannot see into the future, but what about your future as a game developer? What kind of games would you like to make, or can you see yourself in the gaming industry, in the video game industry, as a game developer in the future as well, after this game has fully launched? Would you like to make other games as well?
I want to make games.
Okay.
I want to make games. I think after GodCV, I might need a little bit of a break.
Okay.
To be honest, because it's been rough. It's been hard because of the money thing. The money, like the team, the size of the team. Because we were 35, and in the last year we laid off 13, 14 people. No, 20 people.
So that's a lot of people. Yeah.
It's a lot of crying. It's a lot of crying on their end, on my end. There's a lot of emotion attached to it, and yeah, and like I'm learning a lot, but I'm seeing there's been a shift in the industry, right? Because it was easier if you could lead a team and make a good game, you could get signed and you could release it, you could make it, you could finish it. Right now, that's really hard. It's really hard. And yes, I could be doing Kickstarters every couple of years and see what's up. But right now, I will need a break from that kind of stuff. Also, like technology is too fast right now. Too fast for my old ass. So I feel that we are going to see a shift. Now, obviously, in the way we make video games, in the way we consume, but especially in the way we live our lives in the next few years because of AI. It's not obvious to me yet. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. There's just so you know, there's something that I tell my team all of the time, but I also tell now to everyone who wants to listen. I don't have a crystal ball and I don't have a time machine. So I cannot change the past and I cannot predict the future. Nobody can. Okay? So what I can tell you is that I've seen what it was before the internet. I've seen what it was before cell phones. And I've seen what it was before AI. And right now, when I was in high school, and I got my first modem, and I got on the internet for the first time, I couldn't ever in a million years imagine that I will be having like a video conference with a guy from Hungary on Discord while I'm while I'm launching a Kickstarter.
True.
From all over the world.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
I have no idea how we're going to consume video games, how we're going to consume content, or how we're like make a living in the next 4 or 5 years. I just don't know.
True. And that's the scary part, in my opinion, about human life. Is that it's so fastly and vastly changing, and it's not like it's like you mentioned, like 10 or 20 years ago, it was like more fixed, we could say, like more strict rule-based life, but now it's like
it's crazy. Like we're making our own TV show right now. That's crazy.
True.
Like you're the host, I'm the guest.
True.
We have an audience.
True.
They can ask questions. This is crazy. Like on one end, like I want to make video games, but I don't know what video games are going to look like in 5 years. So I want to see a little bit of what happens. I know I want to tell stories. That's for sure. I'm very interested in stories with procedural characters.
Okay.
Procedural storytelling in screenwriting. I'm interested in that. I think there's something really cool about that. There's a game that I really want to make that it's, I think it's really funny. I think it's really funny, but it could get me in trouble. But I want. This is Premiere. Like nobody knows about this. This is a game I may never make it, but I want to make a
Spoiler
CRPG.
time.
Spoiler alert! I want to make a CRPG in the style of Disco Elysium a little bit,
Okay.
but set in the year 7 before Christ, in Judea, or like Judea, however it's called, where you play a Roman like party, like a Roman in times of Jesus, right? Who is in charge of investigating like the death of Jesus, you know? So it's like a funny, like hilarious story about this Roman who is an atheist trying to talk to all the Jews and the Christians, and like trying to go to the catacombs, and like just like trying to piece out like who actually like sold Jesus, like what happened with Judas, like all that stuff, but as a Monty Python kind of style, like because this guy's a drunk and he's just like getting in trouble with people, you know. And the game is called Killing Jesus, and I think it'd be so fun to write that shit.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you, by the way, for sharing with honesty this idea of yours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope, like, what do you guys think? Would you play that?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. Let us know when you want to have a Kickstarter or a wishlist page for that game, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Summarizing, by the way, the whole theme of God's TV itself, I believe that all creators have a message when it comes to giving a message in their own craft. What would be that message with your game?
I don't play the game. I feel like if I say what I want to, what my message is,
It would be a spoiler?
I don't think it'll be a spoiler. I think I hope the game means something different for a lot of people, you know. So I don't wanna put it. I just want to make something really fun, something that says, you know, that talks about the world we live in, but hopefully it's cartoony enough and like crazy enough that it does bring like a different light, you know, to the thing. Yeah.
By the way, since I mentioned at the very beginning that I could imagine a whole franchise building on God's TV as a game. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So since I mentioned at the very beginning of our interview that I could see a whole franchise growing out of God's TV, could you imagine yourself like making a cartoon or a TV show or even a movie, animation movie about God's TV? Because it would make sense in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I would love to do a TV show. I think it'd be really fun.
True.
I would love to make different games in the universe of God's TV.
Okay.
I'm really excited about the showbiz sim part of the game, and I would really like to have a game like a spin-off. This is a little smaller, but a spin-off. There's like a dating sim. I think it'd be really fun. And yeah, I think it's a world that I would like to live more in, you know. So I think having a rhythm game, like something with music, I would love to do with God City. There's a game called Unbeatable that is going around, and that game gave me like a couple ideas on. No, it won't be like that game, but they gave me ideas on how to make like a music game in the world of God TV that will be really fun. Stuff like that.
I see.
Something for mobile. Something for mobile will be interesting. Yeah.
You will be the one who will change the mobile industry. I can see that.
I doubt it. No, but I just like the things. I like the some mobile games, but especially like the idea of like playing without remote control, like without the controller, you know. I think there's something about tapping and like using your fingers to, like, navigate stuff. something a little more narrative, maybe something like closer to a point and click, but like this mobile. I think there's something there in mobile games that is really fun to play. I don't think it's gonna make a lot of money. I just think it's fun.
True. And there is a huge potential in mobile games, in my opinion, when it comes to, like you mentioned, point-and-click games or any other fun games. It's just like a lot of like these big companies are not down on the roads to make those. They are rather making these cash cow games for mobile. So it's a whole different industry or scene of the industry. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you for the questions from the chat and also for your time and honesty with all the topics that we have spoken about. And I cannot wait to play the full release of Gods TV. Like I said, I will need some more of your minutes of stream. But for those who are with us here live or will be watching back the VOD version on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you that you joined us for today's episode. Don't forget to check out the Kickstarter. I have so many days decide whether what kind of reward you would like to have in your bag, and don't forget to try the demo of Gods TV as well. Thanks for being here with us, everyone, and have a great day or evening depending where you live. Bye everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.